Hello and happy November, Ignite. Welcome to the holiday season. We're in November and won't be too long, we'll be into December. And between Thanksgiving and Christmas, lots of holiday festivities and lots of holiday eating. So our mini flow for this month is going to focus on poses that'll help us with some digestion. We're going to be doing so much eating foods that maybe we don't eat all the time in larger quantities, larger meals more frequently as we have different holiday parties, family get-togethers. Some families, especially where there's split families, you might have 3 or 4 Thanksgivings in a 2 or 3 day period. So there's lots of food intake, sugary things, and just lots of stuff that we're taking in between November and December. That's a little out of the ordinary for our systems. And so we might find that our bodies are not responding well to all of that food. And so we're going to give you a couple of poses here today that will hopefully help you aid in that digestion process, particularly if you're feeling a bit uncomfortable after one of those holiday meals. So we're just going to work through. It's going to be a little different than some of our other mini flows where I'm not actually teaching a class per se, but I'm going to instruct you in a couple of different poses and different ways to do the poses, the modifications that hopefully will be helpful to you. You might choose to do all of these poses, or you might pick and choose a few of them based on how you're feeling and what it is you're looking to sort of do for yourself through the use of these poses when it comes to digestion. So anytime we do yoga, I always invite you to take a moment just to sit and be with the breath and be with the body, kind of grounding yourself and just getting centered, setting an intention. So in this case, since we're focusing on our digestive flow, our intention is obviously to help the body digest all the food that we've eaten. So just taking a moment, eyes closed, if that's comfortable, taking a few breaths, just really connecting with the body, feeling those sits bones ground into the floor beneath you, the cushion beneath you, just letting go and just really getting intentional and purposeful in why you're here to practice. So let's just take a moment, relaxing hands wherever's comfortable, rolling those shoulders down away from our ears, sitting up nice and tall through the crown of our head. Again, closing eyes if that's comfortable. And just following the breath. Feeling that breath right at the tip of the nostrils with each inhale and each exhale. If it's easier, you can bring your focus down to the belly and feel the belly flowing in and out with the breath. Wherever you want to put your attention, just to help us stay with the breath. Help us drop into the moment, drop into the body. And start to consider, what is your intention? What is it that you're hoping to accomplish by practicing these couple of poses focused on digestion? And just taking a moment to mentally note that intention. Once you have the intention set, you can open up your eyes. And then we'll go about the business of doing the poses that'll help us with digestion. So the first one I want to show you is cat-cow. And cat-cow can be done seated or on your hands and knees from table position. I'm going to show you both. You can choose to do whichever one you prefer, depending on your where you are at the time. If you're somewhere where you can't necessarily sit on the floor to do some poses, cat-cow seated in a chair is always a good option. But if you have knee problems, sitting on your hands and knees may not be an option. So again, the seated version might be better. So if we're going to do it seated, we're going to relax the hands on our lap, sitting up nice and tall. And our cow pose is the inhale. So as we're inhaling, we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, which kind of arches the back and pushes the body forward. We're going to look up at the sky. And as we exhale, we're going to drop the chin down to the chest and round our back. So we're kind of like an angry cat at this point. And we're pulling that belly button in toward the spine. And we just flow back and forth between these two. So on the inhale, coming up and pulling those shoulder blades together, looking up at the sky. Exhale, drop the chin round the back. And you can go back and forth between these at your own pace. Excuse me. As many of these as feels comfortable. It's a great way to stretch out the spine and the muscles down the back. It's also a nice way to help move things around and aid in digestion. Now, again, this is the seated version. We can also come into the version where we're on our hands and knees. So I'm going to come up off my cushion, move that out of the way, and come into my hands and knees, and we'll demonstrate that next. So we'll make that transition. Again, you don't have to do both versions. You can simply choose the version that you prefer. Again, I apologize. So we come onto our tabletop. We want our knees under our hips and our hands underneath our shoulders. So we come into this tabletop position. It's the same flow, the same movement. It's just that we're in this position. So as we are inhaling, we're going to drop the belly toward the floor, which is going to create that arching of the back. Our tailbone comes up and our head comes up. As we exhale, we drop that chin to the chest. We arch back like the angry cat. And what happens then is our tailbone tucks under and we're pushing our back up toward the sky. So again, inhale, drop the belly, tailbone and head come up. Exhale, into chest, arch the back, tuck that tailbone. And again, you can go through as many of these as you'd like. Nice for stretching the back, but also again, helping with that digestion. And when that feels complete, then that's the end of your cat-cow. So one of the other poses that we want to talk about is down dog. So that's our upside down V, our inverted V. This is really good. Again, it's engaging a lot of the muscles in the body. It's going to help move things around a little bit. Again, aiding in digestion. So this is something that if it's a comfortable position for you, can be done pretty much anywhere. You don't have to have a yoga mat. You just need a little space to be able to stretch out. So I'm going to start, since I'm already sort of here on my hands and knees, I'm going to start from tabletop position and move up into the pose at the moment. So from tabletop, we would curl our toes under, spread those fingers nice and wide, give us a nice base for our hands. Then we're going to inhale and push the tailbone up to the sky. And as we do that, we're pushing the heels down toward the ground. They may not actually touch the ground, but in general, that's the position we're moving toward. The head's going to drop back between the arms, ears kind of between the arms. And again, you can hold this steady, or you can pedal the feet, what we call walking the dog. You can do that as well. And again, you can hold this position for as long as is comfortable. If you want to take a break, you can always drop back down into tabletop. Take a little break, maybe roll your wrists a little bit. And again, you could repeat that a couple of times if you wanted to. Totally up to you. You could just do one and be done. Or again, you wouldn't even have to do this pose at all. You can kind of pick and choose. The other one I want to show you, sticking with the dog theme here, is extended puppy dog pose. So this is another one we're going to start from tabletop and move into. If you ever watched dogs when they're playing, they oftentimes, their upper body comes all the way down to the floor. Their tail end is up in the air and it's wiggling and waggling. It gets really excited. It's kind of the positioning that we're moving into. So from tabletop, all right, we have our knees underneath our hips. That's what we want to maintain the whole time. What's going to happen is our heart is going to come down toward the floor. So we're hinging at the hips and folding down toward the floor. You can, one option here, I'm going to reach for a block. One option is to have a block here to rest your head on. I'll demonstrate both ways with the head, with the block and without. But again, this stays the same. So my hips are staying over my knees and I'm just folding the body down. So again, I can place my head on the block if that's comfortable, reaching the arms out. I can also do this without the block, bringing the head down. If you have shoulder issues, extending the arms out like this may not be comfortable. So you can always create a pillow with your arms if that's helpful. But again, the biggest thing here is just keeping that angle where your knees are and hips are aligned and your heart is just folding forward. Okay, so extended puppy dog pose. Again, you can hold that pose for as long as it's comfortable and then move on from there. We're going to flip around and come onto our bottom now, coming into bridge pose. So bridge pose is a nice one. Again, this is one that we can utilize a block. So I'm going to have my block handy here. Coming in to bridge to stretch out the body a little bit and again, aid in digestion. So coming down onto our back, we're gonna have our feet on the floor with our knees bent. We're gonna relax the arms alongside the body. Actually, gonna move this out of the way a little bit first. Tucking our shoulders in underneath, almost like you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. And trying to walk the feet as close to our bottom as we can. Get them back as close to our bottom as you can. Arms again alongside the body. And then as you're ready, you're going to inhale and lift that tailbone up off the floor. You can take a bind with your hands, which just means you're clasping your hands underneath you. You can also reach for a block and place a block underneath if you want to kind of hold you up there. And then you can, becomes a little more of a restorative pose at this point where the body is engaged, but also relaxed. So that's an option as well. Either way. When you're ready to come out of the pose, if you are holding a bind, you're going to release your hands first and just let the body roll down one vertebrae at a time. If you're using a block, you'll remove the block first and then lower down. And again, you can repeat your bridge multiple times if you want to, or just do it once. A nice counter stretch to that after you do that is to bring the knees into the chest and just rock from side to side. The next pose I want to show you is one that's kind of nicknamed, the term is wind reliever. And you'll probably get a sense why when we get into it. We're going to bring the right knee up toward the chest. We're going to interlace the fingers over the shin and really pull that right knee up toward the right shoulder. Then we're going to stretch this left leg out. We're letting it hover above the ground. It's not resting on the ground. It's a little bit off the ground. And we're pushing through that left heel. So it's alternating forces, or opposing forces. So you're pulling the right knee toward the right shoulder, pressing out through that left heel. And again, just holding here and breathing. You can take nice deep breaths here if you want to, or just let the breath flow naturally. And then at some point, you're going to exhale and switch sides, bringing that left knee up toward the left shoulder and stretching that right leg out. Again, breathing. Holding each side for an equivalent amount of time. And again, when you're finished, you can bring both knees to the chest and just rock a little bit from side to side. And then after that, it's always good to practice a little Shavasana. So moving the body into some kind of comfortable position where you're lying down. You might have a bolster underneath your knees. You might need a blanket or something just to become more comfortable. But just allowing for the body to relax for a few minutes. This is really good to let the practice sink in, to let the body absorb everything that's happened during that little practice that you did. So taking that little bit of time at the end. And again, just reflecting on the intention, taking time to notice how the body feels now that you finished that practice. Just relaxing and enjoying. It's a nice stress reliever from the holidays as well. So hopefully those couple of poses will come in handy as we make our way through these holidays in November and December timeframe, and you find them helpful. So enjoy, be safe, and have a great holiday season.